Welcome back to the Halloween edition of The Spotlight. I'm Nick Kendall, and we're here, as promised, with Pete and Chris from Go Comedy. Thanks a lot, guys, for taking time out of your schedules to come visit us today.
Sure. Thank you.
And now we got a great Halloween special coming up soon.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Stage Fright, how it became, and what people can expect when they come out to see it?
Sure. It's a show called Stage Fright that was written by myself and Jen Hansen, both who work at Go Comedy. It's a play about a community theater production of Dracula during the zombie apocalypse.
Okay, so I'm assuming things just go completely awry.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. Yeah.
Right, of course.
Yeah, everything goes pretty much to the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredibly bloody, but incredibly funny as well. I hope. I think so.
Yes, I think it's very
laugh.
funny. Very funny show.
Okay, and where did the concept come from?
The concept came from Jen and I were going to write a Halloween show, and we got about a week into writing it and hated it.
Okay.
And so we spent another week just like throwing ideas around, and I think she was the one who pitched it. Yeah, I think she was the one who pitched it, and then we laughed for about an hour. Okay. And then we wrote it.
So generally laughing for an hour, that's a good start then.
Yeah, if you suggest a show idea and then can't stop laughing at the idea of it, then that's usually a good sign it's going to work.
Okay. We actually we put it up 2 years ago at Go Comedy, and it was a big hit. And it was a lot of fun to do. And then
we brought it back and revamped it a little bit.
Okay, so you said revamped, so something new if somebody came and saw it.
Yes.
Last time, it's a new show.
It's quite a bit bloodier.
Okay, which is always a plus.
Always a plus for your comedy shows. You always want extra blood.
A little bit, just tightened up.
Yeah, and then we just kind of tightened it up, cleaned up the script a little bit.
All right, that's cool. Now, tell me about some of the characters, maybe. When you said you wrote the whole thing. When you envision characters, do you kind of already have an idea of the type of person you want to cast?
I'll speak for this because it's kind of a weird thing. I'm the only person who plays a character apart from themselves. The other people in it are playing themselves or a variation. They're themselves. The character I play is called Gideon West. Dr. Gideon West. And he's sort of the self-styled director, writer, and visionary of this whole thing, and sort of the quintessentially arrogant, self-absorbed person. Leading.
We all know a couple people like that.
Yes, exactly.
We've all met
with
that
no
guy.
sense of all the chaos going on around him.
Okay.
But basically in the script, the actors' names, apart from my lines, the actors' names are
their
in
actual
the script.
names,
Are themselves.
Because we came up with the concept, and then we wrote it in kind of different phases. We wrote a Dracula play.
Just sort of a hammy,
terrible, lot of plot holes Dracula play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we kind of figured out how many characters we needed for the whole thing to come together, and everybody that we called said yes. And so then we wrote it with, it works when everybody says yeah.
Right.
And then we wrote the parts throughout with everybody in mind.
Oh, okay.
So the pompous, arrogant, self-important character of Dr. Gideon West is written
naturally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. Now tell me a little bit about yourselves. Outside the show, getting into improv. People see it on TV. Drew Carey made it famous in America. Is that kind of like what made you get started doing something like this, or do you start with acting? What's normally the path that you take? Or what are the paths that you take?
Well, I mean, it definitely varies from person to person.
Okay.
I got started the same month I graduated high school.
Okay.
And I did theater in high school and in middle school, and then my brother was taking classes at the Second City in Detroit.
Great.
And thought that it would be something I might like, so I started taking it and then haven't left.
Okay.
Second City did.
Second City left, but I haven't stopped doing improv.
No, I hadn't done any theater or anything like that at all. I was just a big comedy and sketch comedy enthusiast. And I started taking classes at Second City kind of on a lark. Just this was interesting just to see if it would stick. And Pete was one of my first teachers, actually.
Wow.
Yes. So I took classes there in the last year. Second City was in the Detroit area. As that closed down, it more or less coincided with Go Comedy opening.
Oh, wow.
So a bunch of us just sort of.
So you kind of just moved over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Now, what are some of the activities that you would learn in an improv class? Is it, is it like that show that Drew Carey used to host? Whose Line Is It Anyway? Is it those
It's similar.
versions, or is it?
It's very similar. I mean, we teach those games,
Okay.
but you get a lot of listening, how to react quickly to any situation. It's really good for people who are shy and to kind of get them out of their shell and like be comfortable in crowds and stuff.
Yeah,
like
the classes aren't really about how to be funny, because I don't think that's something you can really teach.
Yeah.
But they do teach you. I mean, like Pete said, how to react, how to work with a group to do something that if you stick your neck out and you're honest, it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
Right.
The comedy is just going to arise out of that without you having to force it.
Yeah, in classes, I always tell students that I'm not teaching them to be funny. I'm teaching them to improvise, and the funny will happen,
Okay.
whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Basically, learning to laugh, up to yourself.
Yeah,
Laughing,
yeah.
Against yourself or with people.
Because I mean, one of the things that improv kind of gets out of people is that when we're kids, everything is make believe, and you can be whatever you want, and then it's sort of knocked out of you as you grow up. So improv kind of gets you back to doing that.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Now tell me a little bit about some of the classes that Go Comedy does teach outside of intro to improv.
Yeah, what happens? I mean, it's a curriculum of what, eight classes, and basically just kind of step you through. I mean, the intro is, if you've never done anything on stage, if you're terrified at the idea of being on stage, any of that, it kind of slowly gets you in there. And then it's just sort of this progression of building on those basic concepts, those basic building blocks. We teach more games.
Okay.
And then it gets into long form improv, which is just a series of scenes as opposed to like structured games.
Okay.
And we also have sketch programs.
Now that's kind of what I feel is, I love sketch comedy, the Saturday Night Live skits and stuff like that. Is a lot of it rehearsed and scripted, or is that still, improv?
The sketch shows that we do on Thursdays and Fridays, those are written.
Okay.
I mean, they might have green lights in it, like where you can change a thing in the scene, or one line or one word or whatever. But all the improv is completely improvised.
Yes, it is, by definition.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the improv is improvised and the sketch is written.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
But generally speaking, the sketch shows we do, because we do quite a few written sketch shows, and as a matter of fact, we'll be leaving here to go
do one.
Go work on one that's performing tonight. But the genesis of those sketches is almost entirely from improv. And that's kind of coming out of the Second City model, where you improvise, afterwards you take notes. Was there something here we could do something with? You go back and you revise it. So it's, they definitely fit together.
Right, so kind of like that mold that you were saying earlier, go out there, try it, and then tighten it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Very good. Now, what are some other upcoming shows that Go Comedy is featuring maybe in the next couple months or so?
We'll be leaving here to
do Best of Go Comedy Volume 2, which is selected scenes from shows that have been in the past 5 years.
Very cool.
That Chris is in.
Yes.
And in November, it is Go Comedy's 5th anniversary.
Very nice. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Go Comedy.
Now we get to go to preschool.
Yes, I think
Go
so.
Comedy,
I think
go
that's what that
preschool.
means,
Yeah.
basically.
Go Comedy preschool.
But there is a ton of events the week, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's a whole bunch of events. We're bringing back groups that were around when we first got started. Stage Fright is also part of that restaging a fan favorite. I don't know if it was a fan favorite.
No, I think so. It's popular enough.
Yeah.
Is it definitely
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. There'll be a Christmas show, a holiday show.
Okay.
I'm not sure when that'll go up.
The second or third week of November, I
Yeah.
believe it goes up.
All that stuff is on the website, gocomedy.net.
Okay.
There'll be a listing of everything that's coming
Yeah.
up. And then there are regular...
There are regular shows.
improv.
As a matter of fact, Wednesday nights.
Yes, Wednesday nights.
Would you like to speak about that, buddy?
I'm part of a show with Pete's writing partner, Jen Hansen, called Human Amusements, which is
Okay.
part improvised, part sketch. It's sort of a... yeah, I'll leave it at that.
for all.
What he was saying earlier about let's throw this out and see if it works is basically the entire show.
Yeah.
And it's
Very
a
cool.
majority
Every week we kind of come up with some sort of concept we want to try out, and then we give it air on that. That's Wednesdays at the prime time of 10:40 p.m.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, shows every night except Monday and Tuesdays. So.
Awesome. And you guys on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that? Where
yeah,
might be able to catch you?
I believe it's just Go Comedy Improv Theater.
I think
on
so.
Facebook.
And on
then
Twitter it's
they meant to have it say Got Wits, but if you look at it, it says Go Twits.
Okay.
They didn't think that one
No,
through when,
not
they, yeah, when they made the page.
yes. But yeah, it's Go Comedy Improv Theater in Ferndale, so pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your schedules to come
Absolutely.
talk with us.
Thank you.
Go out and see Stage Fright, and obviously go visit anytime because they got shows every night. But
Every night but Monday and Tuesdays.
Yep.
but Mondays and Tuesdays. So Go Comedy. Thanks again, guys. Stick around. There's more Spotlight coming right up.